Imagine buying a house cheaper than an iPhone, and the conversation at Thanksgiving when you tell the relatives I bought a $500 property worth thousands of dollars. This is only possible with tax deed investing. And today we're going to talk about how to buy some $500 tax deeds and where to go and how to do it. So you'll want to have your screenshots ready because I'm going to show you locations. Now, if you want to get into real estate and maybe you missed the crypto boom, this could be your second chance to take some action in real estate. So today we're going to talk about where tax deed auctions are happening. I have a whole team who pulls data on where these auctions are to save you time and help you get into this business. So we are going to dive into that here today. And we are in the end of the year push. So if you're watching this, this is live and we have Thanksgiving coming up. However, the principles in this video are timeless and the auctions we're going to show will be annual, so you can check them out every single year. Now, I know it sounds probably a little bit preposterous as far as, $500 property. What the heck is this guy talking about? It's full of crap. This is the internet. Well, the thing you can rest assured is that this is a live video. We see so much AI stuff online these days. You don't know what's real. So that's why we're prioritizing live streams. So if you're just tuning in, it is Dustin Hahn here, and this channel is dedicated to helping real estate investors create wealth and make money through tax lien and deed investing and over-the-counter tax deed property, which is a property that didn't sell at the tax deed auction that you can go and buy mortgage-free for literally just paying the back taxes and going in. So, there's thousands of those properties available right now. And the key question is where the heck do you find them? And that's what we do here. We think we have like 3,700 videos on the channel now going back over 10 years. And we pride ourselves on being the #1 authority when it comes to providing the tax lien and deed community with information on tax lien and deed investing. So, we'll dive in here today. If you're tuning into the live stream, go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from, your name, your city, and your state. And I can tailor the stream here as we go and also answer any questions that you might have as well. So welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome, Uncle Billy. All right, let's dive in. Let's get it going. We also have the vertical thing going on YouTube right now, which is kind of cool. We have Texas here. So Texas is going to have some amazing auctions coming up first Tuesday of the month. And remember, with Texas and Georgia, actually, we have, I'm going to talk about this for the next couple of weeks. And the reason there's going to be a big auction coming up is a few things, right? We have the government shutdown, which is affecting things. But we also have a golden auction, one of my favorite auctions and one of my favorite times of the year to buy cheap tax deeds is going to be Thanksgiving. And I've mentioned that quite a bit because the auction's on the first Tuesday of the month and we have Thanksgiving at the end of the month. So what that means is there's going to be lots of inventory at the auction. There's going to be less competition because, people who have money, they're big on Thanksgiving, they travel, and there's going to be a lot less competition at the auction. And there's going to be more properties for you guys to bid on at these auctions because, people are human. Banks are one of the largest redeemers of tax deeds and tax liens. So around Thanksgiving, things fall through the cracks and there are more properties that show up. So, this is a good opportunity for you guys to end the year strong by getting some deals and running that momentum here coming up into 2026, because we look now and it's like, it's already the end of the year. So let's dive in. If you guys like making money with real estate, tax liens and deeds, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. And remember, I give away for everybody that tunes in the ABCs of tax lien and deed investing. This is the guidebook and it is always for free in the description. So let's go ahead. Let's get your screenshots ready because I'm going to share with you guys some auctions that are coming up. We've done the work for you. We got several folks in Texas. So I'll take a few minutes towards the end as well and go over some Texas. We got Santa Fe here. Who else do we have? Good to see everybody from Wisconsin. Funny story. I think probably like 20 years ago, I went to a Wisconsin tax deed sale and I was in the wrong part of town. And we're driving around and I went and I was looking at this property and this guy like popped up. I thought it was vacant. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I'll give you a tour of the property for $20." And he was clearly squatting on the property. and gave me a tour. It was pretty run down. Right after that, I got pulled over by the cops and they said, "Why are you in this neighborhood? Leave now." So I did not buy that property, which brings me to a very valuable tip. Make sure to know the areas that you're going into, because maybe sometimes you don't want to be in those areas. So everybody here, let's look at some auctions that are coming up. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go back and forth. You'll see me sharing my screen and then popping back because sometimes these streams break down, which is no fun. So we got California here, lots of Houston, which is great. Everybody in Texas, remember, you got a big auction coming up. So it's going to be time to take some action. All right, we're going to share some screen here. Share my screen. Boom. You can see the infinite screen share loop and check it out. First thing you guys need to do is we put together the best free resource on this is we're going to go to the free auction map. So everybody come over to taxlienschool.com, click on the knowledge vault. Okay. And this is the #1 free resource for tax lien and deed investors. There is a free interactive map here. Everybody should have a screenshot of this on your phone. And anything in red is a tax deed state. Anything in green is a tax lien. Anything in blue is going to be a hybrid state. So you know where to start. We'll make sure the screen share is working. So that's going to be on Tax Lien School. But the thing that we want to look at here is the upcoming auctions. So check it out. We have a whole team who's pulling auctions all the time. And anybody who comes to the site can get free access. You can see a week, but take a screenshot here of these auctions that are coming up and happening into later this week and next week. We have Hillsborough County, Florida. We have Jefferson County, Illinois. We have South Carolina, redeemable deed auction. We have Collier County, Florida auction here happening. We have I think it's Flodger County, and we have Washington County, Florida. And let's see, what else do we have here? We have Clay County, lots of Florida happening, and DuPage, Illinois, Manatee, Florida, and McLean, Illinois coming up. So these are going to be some auctions with some hot property to put on your radar. And we're going to dive in and investigate these here a little bit more. Once again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Welcome here to the live show. If you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments who's tuning in, where you're tuning in from as well. And also, let's get some questions going. What type of properties are you guys interested in? Houses, land, farmland, commercial land, all sorts of stuff. I can answer questions on here for you guys today. But right now, we're going to look at some auctions. And as we look into these auctions, I just want to just kind of talk a little bit about the philosophy of this. And a big part of the philosophy of this is we want a good deal. And for the most part, I don't really care too much where that deal is unless it's in a very, very bad area. And there's a good site called areavibes.com, and Area Vibes will show you good areas and bad areas. So we want to obviously avoid the really terrible areas. But the reason I want to share this philosophy is because it doesn't matter for the most part where it is. If you're buying a $500 property and it's worth $5,000, $10,000, or even $2,000 or $3,000, you're going to be able to sell that property. And the cool thing is a lot of these tax deeds now, you can do them online, you can do them virtually, and you don't have to leave the comfort of your house, which is very, very awesome. So you can research a lot. And with the power of AI these days, you can really save days of work within minutes by having the AI estimate rehabs, pull all the details on the properties and things like that. So, you know, you might be watching this and you might think, oh, I'm not interested in that area. I want to encourage you to be interested in areas where there is good deals and not to discriminate against, geography. So obviously the first place to start is going to be your very own backyard. See what's going on there. The next place you can branch out to is maybe somewhere you've had boots on ground. Third place is maybe somewhere you have friends and family. But from there, you can do this stuff remotely, which is very, very cool. So let's take a look at some of these auctions. Once again, welcome folks. Let us know who's here, where you're tuning in from. Hit the thumbs up if you like this stuff. And we're going to talk about $500 tax deeds and the locations. So back to my screen share. Here we go. The infinite loop. There we are. All right. So coming back to the Tax Lien School, click on the Knowledge Vault, and we have auctions available now. So all I'm going to do is, let's see. Let's start with Florida, Hillsborough County. So if I click on this, it's going to take me to the county information. And remember, we have a whole team pulling the data on these auctions so that you can save time and check it out. So we got this one coming up here pretty soon, actually, November 13th, and we have all of the links to it. So how to participate, it's going to be Hillsborough County Real Deed Platform. So we can come here and you can register for it. Please note, you need to register online. Great, create a username, password, and then you would go here to register. So Hillsborough is going to be online, which is great, but we can come back. We can see what's going on. So Florida outline, chapter 197, Florida statutes. So you must deposit $200 or 5% of the highest anticipated bid before the auction begins. This deposit will be applied to the final sale, which is very good to know. And then we want to look at the filing fees. So from here, filing fees could be anywhere between 50 to $100, but we have all the links to the Hillsborough County in here, the tax sale link coming up over here. And then we have all the common questions, right? Where is the tax deed sale going to be held? It's going to be delinquent taxes. Tax deed sale occurs after an owner doesn't pay their property taxes. Where can I obtain information? So all of this is here for you just by following along. And what I want to encourage everybody to do is to do some practicing. Go and start poking around. Like, we've pulled all the data for you to be able to have it kind of on a platter, and let's see, comprehensive guide to Florida tax deed auctions. We have this here as well. So when you come here, click, obviously give it a second to load, and we have everything you need to know about Florida. We have all the counties here on the left-hand side. You can click into them, 2-year redemption. So remember, Florida is a unique tax deed state. And let me make sure my screen's being shared. Yes, it is, which is good. So we'll chat a little bit about Florida and what makes it unique and the pros and cons. So we just looked at a Florida tax deed sale that's coming up. There are pros and cons of Florida, depending on how you want to go about it. So first off, the pro, they have lots of auctions. They have lots of tax lien auctions. They have lots of tax deed auctions. So we're talking about tax deeds. And those auctions are great. You go, you bid, you can buy the property. Florida tax liens are not my favorite tax lien. And here's why. They offer a decent interest rate. I think it's like 18% in Florida. However, one of the biggest benefits of tax lien certificates is when they don't redeem. When they don't redeem, that's when you can get a huge home run. That's where you hear people saying like, oh, I got a $100,000 property for $4,000 or $2,000. Because when the tax lien doesn't redeem, you can foreclose and you get the property. However, in Florida, they're playing both sides of the coin and being a little bit greedy. In Florida, when the tax lien doesn't redeem, they kick it over to a tax deed auction it off so that they can get more proceeds from the property. So in Florida, buying tax liens is not my favorite thing. However, the tax deed auctions can be great in Florida as well. So I know we got lots of folks on the East Coast, but just a little bit of a heads up there as far as how Florida works, which kind of brings us to another question that beginners have. And they're like, well, Dustin, should I start with tax liens or tax deeds? And here's what I've noticed. A lot of people know what tax lien investing is. However, tax lien investing generally is a second phase after tax deed investing. And here I'll explain. So with tax lien investing, you want to have at least probably $50,000 liquid before you get into tax liens. And the reason is tax liens are going to be more hands-off. So tax liens are more appealing when you have more money you can put into the game. And the reason is they're hands-off. They pay an interest rate of 8 to sometimes 36%, which is great. However, the key thing to making money is the velocity of money, right? The faster you can turn it over. So you'll get to a point where, if you have $50,000 or $100,000 just sitting there in the bank, and remember, guess who's one of the biggest investors in tax liens? It's the good old banks. So while the banks are paying you pennies right now, there is a large chance most of you guys here right now might even already be tax lien investors because the bank is taking your money and buying tax liens, collecting the interest rate on it. So with tax liens, if you have extra cash, that's where it's a good point to get that money working for you because the money can be tied up for up to 2 years. Okay. So that's super important. And From there, you can move into tax deeds. But I know a lot of you guys here are obviously interested in starting with the deeds, which is why most of us are here. However, I just wanted to lay the groundwork of that. And remember, for everybody tuning in, we have the directories. We have the tax deed directory and we have the tax lien directory, which has all of the contact information, all of the phone numbers here for you, and that is in the description below. And then we always pair it with the steps outlined here in the book, the ABCs of Tax Lien Investing. So that is below. You guys can go and grab that for free and check it out. So warm welcome to everybody who is here today. We got D in New York. Good to see you by way of Florida. Excellent. Hello, everybody here. Once again, post any questions you have about tax liens and deeds in the comments, or post a question if you're watching the replay on this in the comments below, and we'll also do it. If you're liking it, do us a favor, hit the thumbs up. Would love to hear from you. So back over to Florida, we're going to share the screen again and see what's going on. And as we're looking at the screen, a huge principle that I'm big on here is practice, okay? And practice is important because you want to be able to take solid swings. So we just came over here. We got lots of stuff going on in Florida. And if at any given time you ever lose the auction, what do you call it? The auction map, just come back over to Tax Lien School, click on the knowledge vault here, and you will be in good shape coming back to the map and the whole thing. And remember, we have all sorts of things up here. We got what do you call it? Tax liens and deeds, thousands of articles on every single state. And so we want to see some of these auctions that are coming up. So check it out. Let's see. On the 17th, we got another one coming up. We have Collier County, Florida. Ace Ventura, I think, was mentioning Collier County many times, but Washington County, I thought there was an Illinois here. Let's look at DuPage, Illinois. Let's take a look at this auction coming up. So we're going to click on DuPage. And once again, you guys can come here. Everybody gets a week free of this auction calendar if you want. But we got DuPage, Illinois is going to hold its annual delinquent property on November 20th. So this is an auction that is coming up, and it's going to be here at the County Administration Building. We have the address. So, oh, actually, this one you needed to register by the end of the month. So this is why it's important to check out some of the rules for these, because sometimes you need to register, a month in advance. This is how you know this is a live stream. I don't think AIs drink water. So that one is obviously you needed to be pre-registered for it. But here's what I would do if I were you is pick one of these auctions and simply follow along with it, okay? So let's check out this one here. We have Georgetown. We've got Georgetown. Oh, let's check out this one. Georgetown, South Carolina coming up. Once again, welcome everybody. If you're liking this stuff, hit the thumbs up. That'd be great. Let's see. Oh, you're in Florida. Oh, here we go. And we'll take some questions. Okay, perfect. We got some questions rolling in. I will get to questions here momentarily. If you guys like this, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, and we'll dive into it. So somebody had a question here as far as the question is, I'm interested in homes in Florida, but you live in California. Can you do this? Absolutely. So a lot of these auctions are remote, which are obviously they're remote if you live in California and the auctions in Florida, but a lot of these auctions are online, which is cool, which means you can research them and take action, which we weren't able to do back in the day. The golden rule was you always had to go and have boots on the ground, but these days you can I use this app. It's called Airtasker. There's another one called TaskRabbit, and you can send people out to go and get real-time photos of the property, which is super important to have those real-time photos and go. Now, when it comes to $500 tax deeds, a lot of the entry points on this stuff is probably there's going to be a lot of land, and over-the-counter land is a great way to get started. I mentioned Calvin Lewis. He's one of the fellow YouTube watchers, and he bought a mobile home for $250. He put $550 into it and sold that thing. What was it? He sold it for $15,000, I think it was. So there are these deals. Now, the warning, obviously, this is investing. There is some risk, and we try to mitigate that risk with this channel. We got videos on title, and the book here walks you through how to avoid the risks. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor or a lawyer or an astronaut, as much as I would love to be one. So, you do have to do your research and go through this. So that's super important. Let's see. We got a question coming in. I have 5K. Is that enough to invest in tax deeds? Absolutely. So, today's video is sponsored by how to buy $500 tax deeds. I've bought them for as little as $50. People who tune in to this channel have bought literally properties for a couple $100. I think it was last week we had I can't remember. Was it Ashley? If you're here, Ashley, say hello. But she was saying she went to, it was what do you call it? Starts with a, man, there's so many states and counties in my head, not the Montana, the Michigan sale. She bought a property. I think it was $3,500. And I think she sold it for 38. She took 2,000 down and $500 per month, which is a great deal. We'll take those deals all day long. And let's see, David's saying, show me where to buy cheap mobile homes. So David, one of the best ways to buy some cheap mobile homes is go ahead, grab the tax deed directory and find your state of choice. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to call them and ask for the list of properties that didn't sell at the last tax deed auction. All right. You're going to get that list and start doing some research, and you can filter it by types of home, mobile home, houses. However, let's have a warning about mobile homes as well. So this is an interesting warning when it comes to property. So Calvin bought his mobile home. He flipped it, made well over $10,000, which is awesome. However, always be aware of the risks. So some of the risks with mobile homes is, remember, they are mobile. So they can grow some wheels and mobile off that property. So you want to make sure it's a decent mobile home. And remember, if you're going to move, every time you move a mobile home, they lose value quite a bit. So just keep that in mind when you are looking at mobile homes. But the other thing as well is keep an eye. You want to really look at the title when it comes to a mobile home, because it could be just the land going up for sale. You want to make sure that mobile home is included with the land. So those are some mistakes that can happen. So let's see, good turnout here. We're going to continue. If you guys have any questions, pop them in the comments there and we will dive into any questions. Great to have everybody here today. If you like this stuff, thumbs up. And, like I mentioned, our goal is to provide the Tax Lien Deed community with the best training, hands down. And, a lot of people will say, oh, if this stuff works so good, why do you have a YouTube channel, or you're going to give away all the good deals. So first off, there's 3,300 counties. There's thousands of these properties. Even if I wanted to, I could never buy them all. And just being transparent here on YouTube, at the end of the day, I never planned on being a YouTuber and achieving the top channel in Tax Liens and Deeds. I think now 100K subscribers. We had some videos. I just, for giggles, made a video one day and it started to get a lot of traction. And from there, same way you like to make money, we like to make money too. So this YouTube, for me, full transparency, is a business. Okay. Now it really raises all the ships in the port because you get to save a lot of time of trial and error. And if you guys ever want to join me or Josh at a real tax deed auction, there's a link below. You can book a free call. Or if you want a personalized game plan to getting property based on your specific situation, if you want to get a deal in the next 14 days, we can take you by the hand and make you a specific roadmap. So you can schedule a free call below and we can see if it's a fit to work together. See, there's two types of people that learn out there, right? Because everything you want to learn how to do is for free online, right? If you want to learn how to get a six-pack abs, build a rocket, quantum physics, repair your car, everything is for free on the internet these days. So the question is, why aren't we all super jacked billionaires with six-pack abs? We know that there's more to the equation than information sometimes. So some of you guys here might just grab the information in the book here in the description and go get deals and never book a call. That's totally awesome. We just want to hear how you're doing. However, if you want extra help, then that's where you can schedule a call and we can build you a personalized solution to getting deals fast. And that is my transparency disclaimer, calling that out, because I think there's way too many people who don't represent themselves correctly on YouTube. It's like they're not transparent that their YouTube is a business. And that's what this is for me as well. So let's see here. We're going to do some questions. If you have some questions, put them in the box and I will answer any questions. Yeah. You think rural counties are good for cheap land? Yeah, absolutely. Like I love rural counties for cheap land. And as a super tip, you can go and pull up the rural counties because one of the things I like about smaller counties is it's like, getting in the DeLorean and going back in time. And some of these places don't really have a lot of technology. They might want to mail you a list. And these are the places that can be awesome. When you look at a small town with a couple thousand people in the county, they might only have a list of, 20 properties or 12 over the counter properties, but there can be some gold in those. There can be some gold in those hills that you guys might want to go and take a look at. So let's see here. We'll go back to the screen share. Once again, guys, if you enjoy this stuff, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. It lets the algorithm know that, hey, we're going live, and that way it will show it to you next time we go live, and then you won't miss it. So let's see. We're going to go back to the screen. We just looked at an Illinois auction, but I want to encourage you guys to take swings at these auctions, okay? Let's see. We had South Carolina coming up. This is one that everybody could go and practice on. Let's see here. Submit registrations. Once again, mail in person. Receive it by 12 p.m. Terms of the sale. You cannot submit registration online. You must deliver them in person. Okay, that's interesting. So that is a very interesting thing to obviously know. And that's why we have this here for you guys to help save you time. So we're going to go back over here to the auction calendar and see what's going on. But one of the most important things that I want to encourage you guys to do is to go attend one of these auctions, okay? Attend the auction and practice, all right? Take a screenshot of these auctions. You can call them up, you can Google them, and go and practice. This is one of the only, real estate seems to be one of the only fields where people just hate the idea of practicing. And you look at anything you've ever done in your life, what's the thing you had in common? When you learned how to drive a car, mom and dad didn't just heli drop you in a car in the middle of the highway and there you go, learn how to drive, right? You practiced. You practice parallel parking, you practice maneuvering, and that's how you get good. And with this stuff, the fun thing is you can practice for free. You can go sign up for these auctions, follow along. A friend of mine, Brad, he's from England. He moved to Canada, and for a whole year, every single month, he drove down or flew down to the US, and he went to, I think in the period of a year, I don't know, it was like maybe 20 tax deed sales, and he didn't buy anything for a whole year. Every weekend he'd go down and he's like, oh, I'm just going to learn this so I feel confident. And then in the second year, he bought $2.9 million worth of real estate for $280,000. So practice can make perfect in this game. And I want to encourage everybody to be able to practice because that's very, very important in this. So what if you go to an auction and everything gets bid up? Not a big deal. You turn the lemons into lemonades. You're now in a room full of cash buyers. Get their business card, get their contact information. And with that, you'll be able to keep in touch with them. And when you get a deal, maybe you scoop something up before the auction, you now have a list of cash buyers, right? Which is very, very good. So I know we had some Texas here. So what I want to do is I'm going to, bear with me one moment. I'm going to pull up this Texas auction. And what we can do is Texas tax deed sales. So we're going to do this, ground up, super simple, super basic. This is going to be an amazing auction coming up. So let's check it out. We're going to come over here. We're going to share the screen. Again, I always say that in case I forget to share the screen, as I've forgotten to share the screen many times in my life. So let's see. We're going to come over here, and everybody can do this, okay? Even if you're not in Texas, this is 101 getting into the game. So you come over here, Google Texas tax deed sales. Boom, okay? Harris County. This is going to be a great auction coming up. We're going to come over here to Texas. We're going to agree to the terms. And what we want to look for is spreads from opening bid to value. Okay, so right out of the gate, we're seeing some good stuff. Value here, 211, minimum bid, $45,000. That's a great spread. However, I want to do better than that. I want to do much better than that. So somebody was mentioning earlier, they had $5,000. Here's probably a lot. Let's see. If we look at this, we're going to grab this address because somebody was mentioning they had 5,000 bucks, which is sometimes a common amount to get started with. We're going to copy the address here and we're just going to paste it and see what's going on. A little bit of research here. Okay, here we go. 5821 Bella Street. We'll just take a quick look at the street view and see what's going on here. So it actually looks like, oh, it's probably this one here, right? So this is most likely a lot. House looks boarded up, so it's probably going to be that house. But depending on the area, that lot could be worth $10,000, $20,000, depending on where it is. So if we go back, what's fun about this Google map is you can actually go back in time. So if we go back to 2008, we can see somebody was living there in 2008, right? And then you can watch and see. So this is a handy little trick here. 2015, boom, abandoned. So based on our forensics here, 2011, it's looking a little run down, but by 2015, this thing is abandoned. But it's 5,000 bucks. So what we want to be doing is seeing what's going on as far as comps in the area. So this is just an example of property here. Let's see. We come on to Houston. Oh yeah, but beware because it's probably the neighboring one. However, this thing is going for 179, which tells me this lot could be worth quite a bit more money. So this is all stuff. Remember, we are in a game of being scrappy. Okay. This is tax deed investing. This is a scrappy game. And what I mean by scrappy is, you know, if you want beautiful real estate, I know of a place that has millions of properties at full price. It's called Zillow. And you can go there and get a beautiful property all day long, and then you can wait 10 years and maybe it'll appreciate. However, us here, tax deed investors, we're scrappy. You know, we roll up our sleeves, we put on our Hotel California shirt. Where's my thing here? And we get some deals done by looking and asking the question, where's the opportunity? How do I make money with this, right? And that's why I found myself one day owning a funeral home and a limousine business, was because I said, oh, wow, this thing, the opening bid, 6,100 bucks. It's valued at 75 grand. There's a tenant in it. Oh yeah, sign me up. I'll buy that thing. And it paid me $1,000 per month in rent for 2 years. And then I sold it back to the landlord, or the funeral home guy that was in there. So some of these properties, it's going to be cut and dry. It's going to be, oh, cheap opening bid, nice house, let's bid. Other times, if you have 5 grand, you know, you need to put on your creative cap and see what's going on. So we have this one on Bella Street. And if we look at the area, you know, there could be something there. But let's look at something, you know, let's come up here to this list. And remember, we're in Texas. Let's just sort it by minimum bid. So we got all sorts of stuff down here that doesn't even have minimum bids. We'll come over to page 2, see what's going on. Page 3. Here we go. Let's check this out. So now we're getting into some cheaper property. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's one. Value 249, minimum bid 1,100 bucks. But addresses are pretty easy to get started with. So this one, we have opening bid 4,600 bucks, value 172. That's something that would pique my interest as far as that goes. Lot block floor, Harris County. So we're going to come over here. And this is the basics, guys. Everybody should be researching this, researching properties. It's like treasure hunting, right? Check it out. So opening bid 4,600 bucks. First thing I'm going to do is just paste the address over here, see what's going on. I'm going to open this in our friend Zillow and see what we have. Wow, looks like a nice price happening. Is it a condo though, or maybe it's a house? Let's take a look here on the street view, see what's going on. A little bit of research. Interesting. Here we go. Oh yeah, it's probably on this side. So we can see 2024. Oh, this has us on Shaver Street. Bear with me. We're going to make sure this is accurate. Let's come back over here. Let's paste the address, and here we go. Okay, yeah. So we're back over here, but it's probably on this side of the road. It's looking like a condo, and condos are appealing. Condos can be very appealing. You need to obviously crunch the numbers. Good turnout. Welcome, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we're live looking at some deals. And we were showing some places earlier, $500 properties, how to get in the game. Now we moved on. We're talking about some Texas stuff. And if you have any questions, hit the thumbs up. If you like this stuff, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, we show you how to get some deals. Some deals on property here. So something like this definitely would pique my interest for the tax deed sale. And when we look at it, so it looks like a condo. We got 4 photos. Okay. Yeah, totally. Condo. So let's see. When was this? Back to the listing. We can see what's going on. 167 comparables in the area. We just want to take a quick look. Okay. So it's listed. Heaven on earth. Stunning. Beautiful. This home has it all. Okay. Excellent. Good to know. So with a condo, we're going to take a look, and remember, we're going off of some factors as far as looking at the building. So I want to share with you guys a little bit, and we're actually going to be at this auction. So this property will be on our list coming up. So if you guys here want to come to a Texas auction and join us, and remember, there's a lot of auctions in Texas that are in person, but there's a lot that are done remotely as well. So that's super cool. So when we go to Harris County, Texas, there's a lot of action. There's a lot going on. Harris County is really the belly of the beast in many ways. And you won't find a more accelerated learning scenario than good old Harris County, Texas. And here's why. Most of the time when you go to a tax deed sale, it's just, one sheriff, one auctioneer, one property at a time. However, when you go to Harris County, it's broken up into 8 precincts. Maybe it's 7. 7 or 8 precincts. And what that means is there's 7 or 8 auctions going on at the same time. And it is a wild, wild Texas rodeo at that auction. So one of the rookie mistakes that people make in Texas is they look at property in all 8 precincts. You don't want to do that. If you're going by yourself, you want to stick to 2 precincts because they're going to be 2 auctions at 2 different times. Ideally, the precincts are next to each other, like 5 and 6 or 3 or 4, so you can monitor both auctions at the same time. So that is a key tip. Now, we're going to be going there for this auction coming up. We're going to cruise all 8 because we've been doing this a while. We have our team with us, and it's going to be a great time. So if anybody watching ever wants to come to a live tax deed sale, there's a link below. You can schedule a call, and what we try to do is like something different. It's we only take as many people who fit in a van. And it's this nice Mercedes van with a TV, and we go and we look at these actual properties and we bid. And if you guys want to bid, we would be there with you helping, but it is as immersive as it possibly gets. There's people who charge a lot of money for things like this. I think we offer a very fair deal, but we do customize it based on what you want. So if that appeals to you, you can schedule a free call and maybe come join us at this Texas trip. If not, maybe we'll see you at the auction, as we tend to run into a lot of people. So coming back, Harris County, and a lot of auctions, here's a bit of a tip. A lot of the times, the beginning of the auction can be some of the best deals. And here's why. When people go to an auction, at the beginning of the auction, everybody probably has properties maybe a little later on that they want to bid on. So there might not be as much action at the beginning of the auction. However, what happens is as properties sell and it gets later in the auction, maybe some people don't get what they want. They got outbid. It means there's going to be this leftover bubble of money at the end. So sometimes things will get bid up out of control because people waited. So a lot of the times at these auctions, if you strike early, now, that's I don't want you to think that's the golden rule. We've got plenty of properties at the end of auctions as well. I'm just trying to share with you a little bit of insight. Now, another insight for auctions that I want to share is, so when we say how to buy a $500 tax deed, a lot of the times that will be land, maybe sometimes a mobile home, or it could even be a strange piece of like commercial property that could come up. But when you go to these auctions, I want to be realistic. And remember, as tax lien deed investors, we're scrappy. We go for things, we roll up our sleeves, and we ask where the opportunity is, because half the time it's going to be cut and dry. House, low opening bid, high value, go big, right? Other times it could be a strange, $500 piece of land that's on the street of a busy corner that maybe you could put a billboard up on and get a couple $100s per month in rent for the billboard or the sign. So we need to think about things like that as well, which is super important. So, when you go to these sales, one of the things I just want to put on everybody's radar is setting expectations, right? I'm sure we'd all love that pill that we could swallow and get those six-pack abs and just be, billionaires, Bitcoin billionaires, swallow the pill and you get the $1 billion. However, in the real world, it doesn't work that way. But on two sides, one, this is as easy as it's ever going to get for you in real estate. With the ability that we have with AI, doing this stuff online, all of the videos we have, 3,700 videos on this channel. You have the ABCs of, like, I used to sell this book. Thousands of people bought it. I give it away, and everything is here for you right now. It's never going to be easier than it is today. In fact, if you put it off by this time next year, AI is making it so easy for the average person, if they know how to use it, you're going to have a massive advantage. Because here we are, we're in November. Probably ambitions were high at the beginning of the year. And if you're here right now and you haven't done a deal yet, clearly we need to update the action plan. And, I always have this thing on my desk, the sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. And when I start working, I put this on my desk because, you never know how many of these you have left. And the older we get, the faster time goes. And, when I started in this is my 22nd year. I didn't think I had much time, but back then it was a lot different. I was watching VHS tapes online of this stuff in my parents' basement, nobody to talk to. You guys have everything in your corner. You have online access. You can ask us questions here. You got free training. So it's just time to take action. So after our live today, I want to encourage everybody, go to taxlienschool.com, monitor an auction, get the book, download the directory below, start making some calls and take some action. I was going to put a pin. I'm a little ADD, but the big thing here though is realistic expectations. Sometimes you're going to go to an auction and everything's going to get bid up to market value. Sometimes you might go to 3 or 4 or 5 auctions and not get anything. We've had that happen before where we've gone to 7 auctions and haven't got anything. And, our enthusiasm tank was very low at that point. However, on the 8th auction, we got 7 properties, which, brought it all up. So, in this game, you're either consistent or non-existent when it comes to making money with tax liens and deeds and creating wealth through this. For myself, I got super lucky. I got a property at my very first auction, which was great. It was absolutely awesome. I was oil field, quit my job and went full-time into this, and it truly changed my life. So let's see. I was trying to use area vibes, a couple different auctions. Doesn't show the info I need. It wants me to Proxmill. Is there a different site you can suggest? That would be a Josh question. He's not here today. But you could try it through a VPN, like a free VPN, and it might work. Okay. Let's see. The algorithm is so weird. I just saw one of your videos about getting landlord information and your live pops up. I just lease commercial space, but if your info helps a lot, cool. Yeah. The algorithm these days is its own thing. We never knew where it would be going. And with these live streams, we like these lives because we know it's real, right? Like I was having a conversation this morning with the team where looking at things online, you don't know what's real anymore. It's like, is this AI? Is this not? I heard YouTube's going to be rolling out some filter features that will allow you to filter out AI stuff. But the cool thing with an AI stream is it's live. Like I mentioned, I don't think AIs are drinking water yet. So, we're trying to build the number one, well, not trying, I think we've achieved it as far as creating the most information for tax lien and deed investors out there. So it's time for you guys to take some action, right? Don't let the end of the year come without any plan or not having a deal. If you guys take action, a lot of you could have deals in the next couple of weeks, or sometimes folks watch this in the morning and get a deal by the end of the day, simply by getting the deed directory, picking a state, calling them up, asking them, hey, when's the auction? Next question. What happens to the properties that didn't sell at the auction? Those go to the county inventory or the over the counter. Get that list, then start looking and take some action. So download that. You can check out some videos on the channel. And at the end of the day, when it comes to taking action, for me, I feel very fortunate because, I was working on the oil field, hating life. I went to a 3-day tax deed seminar. And at that seminar, I met a guy who said, hey, I'm going to be down in Washington in 2 days. Why don't you come meet me? And you can see this stuff in action and bid. So, I brought some money and I went and spent some time at the auction with this guy. His name was Bob. And what happened is we looked at properties for 2 days. And this guy was an expert. He'd done many, many deals. And the day of the auction, I was terrified. We had a property on my list and I wasn't even going to raise my hand to bid. I was just too scared. And he had to literally raise my hand and say, bid on this property. And I did. And it was 40 acres of land for $4,200 worth 40 grand. I sold it for 20 and I never looked back. And I'm so thankful that happened because if I would have went by myself, I probably would not have bid on that property. And a strong chance I could have been right back in the oil field. But it was that one moment and I needed somebody there to physically hold my hand. So, if you guys want somebody to either physically, hold your hand in person at a real auction, or if you want some help, we can do that. So you can schedule a call below and we can help you get started. It's a free call. See if it's a fit. If it's not a big deal. Let's see. Oh, check it out. We got somebody coming in here. I attended an auction so far. I won 4 bids at Onondaga County for $300 each. There we go. Boom. We are in the game. I'm curious. What are those? What do you think they're worth? You bought them for 300. What do you think they're worth? I would love to hear. So that's what I mean is, this stuff happens. And every time we go live, people come and say they got properties, right? And it comes down to taking action. So I'd be very curious what you think they're worth. Okay, let's see. Most counties want wire transfers. The mail certified check, 20. So remember, guys, it's not most counties. It's the counties you're in or looking at currently. There's 3,300 counties. A lot of these counties might want a cashier's check. Some of them might want a deposit online. It's currently the counties that you're interested in are, wanting a transfer or a certified check, and that's okay. Remember this rule. The harder it is, the more profitable it's going to be. We have this saying, and it's easy to do and easy information equals often a waste of time and too much competition. Remember, you want this to be hard. You want to call the county and even hear them say, oh, we don't do that here, because that's what they're saying to everybody. And they do that there. It just depends who you're going to talk to, right? So you'll just need to ask the right questions. And that's why all the questions are in the book on this channel. Grab this. It's in the description below. But not to pick on you, but just a little bit. That's one of the most common things in this business is people go to 2 auctions or they research 2 counties, or they research 5 and it doesn't go the way they want, or the guy on the internet said, and it doesn't work. It definitely does work. You just have to stick to it. I always make the joke. It's you're single, you want to find the love of your life, and you go to a bar and you talk to a lady and she says, oh, sorry, I'm married. And then moving forward, they're I don't talk to girls because they're all married, right? And I was well, just that one was married. So just, get in there, take some action. With AI, it makes it a lot simpler and a lot quicker. If you guys want help building, we build custom AIs to help people invest. So you can schedule a call below if you want to get an AI or get some help. But ChatGPT, you can use a free account. We've built a customized one. We'll show it here coming up in the future a bit more. But yeah, guys, it's time to take action. It's been a heck of a stream. It's been a good time. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Before you go, thumbs up, like this stuff, subscribe if you're not subscribed. And we'll continue to do our best to create the best content. That's our goal. Open challenge. There's plenty of other people out there teaching this. There's old Ted Thomas, Tax Lien Code, Deed Grabber. There's a whole bunch of people. Go research, learn from the people you like the best. And that's it. Some people will be like, so how do you stack up against so-and-so? I'm like, well, go and check out their stuff and decide for yourself. We have tons of information. And I do feel we were unmatched. And at the end of the day, though, you might not like me. And that's totally cool. But if you do, you can hit thumbs up. You can check out our stuff. Go poke around. And let's see. Somebody, oh, check it out. Here we go. Got one. So remember, for anybody tuning in, he was saying he bought 4 properties at the auction, $300, and one is worth $3,700. Good deal. Take that stuff all day long. Let's see, another one, $100. Monthly Tax Lien School includes AI. No, it does not. So that's for the auction for the vault. So you can schedule a call and we can chat more about the AI. Let's see. We got 2 are worth 20, worth 251. Okay, good stuff. One is worth 20 grand, bought for $300. Cool. That's a good deal. We'll take those deals all day long. And that's truly the magic of this business. There's no other real estate game out there that will allow you to get into deals like that. So I appreciate you hopping on, sharing that story with us. And guys, now it's your turn to get started. Go get the directory, call some counties. Let's get some action at the end of the year. If you want to join us at the auction, you can schedule a call. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll see you here probably tomorrow. If not, definitely Thursday. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.